Welcome to First Rep, a show covering news, highlights, and analysis for the marching arts. We got a lot to talk about today, so let's hit the Met. Today we'll be looking at some news from around the pageantry world, as well as deciding if a pre-written show is in your ensemble's best interest. Also, we'll be taking a look at a world-class show that you'll never be able to see live. Today with me is Nicole Casino and special guest Ezekiel Lanser, aka Easy. 5 Midwest drum corps, the Blue Stars, Cavaliers, Colts, Madison Scouts, and the Phantom Regiment are forming a new alliance and are planning to honor the 50th anniversary of the original Combine, which laid the foundation to build Drum Corps International. These 5 groups will each host an event near their hometowns, along with a 6th conclusionary event. The original Combine took place in 1971. It was under heavy scrutiny from other circuits such as the VFW and American Legion, but nevertheless, the Combine was a success and paved the way for Drum Corps International in 1972. For event information and to read more history behind the original Combine, please visit dci.org.
Speaking of DCI, we have an updated lineup for the events in Indianapolis this summer. Let's take a look at who we're going to see out on the field. Chorus participation will vary, including solo performances, showcases, and even virtual submissions. And as we move closer to the event, stay up to date on our socials for updates to the final roster.
Boston Crusaders will be crossing the Atlantic for the first time in 40 years to perform in the St. Patrick's Day Parade in Dublin, Ireland. On March 11th through March 19th of 2022, the Boston Crusaders will make various performing stops in Belfast and Dublin for over 500,000 audience members. Performers will be able to participate in traditional rehearsal camps as well as host clinics for students across Ireland. There will also be family, friends, and alumni meetups along the way.
More exciting news comes for 2022 as WGI returns to Dayton, Ohio for the World Championships. Different from the 2019 schedule, the event will return to a 3-day Thursday through Saturday event for Garden Percussion and through Sunday for WGI Winds. Moving back to this 3-day model came out of the need to create a more affordable experience for participating ensembles who were all inevitably hit by the pandemic. This includes reducing travel costs and ultimately will allow greater participation in this first year back. The Color Guard Championships will take place from April 7th through April 9th, Percussion will follow from April 21st through the 23rd, and WGI Winds will wrap up the weekend on April 23rd through the 24th. Additionally, all Power Regionals will move to 2-day events in larger high schools in order to remove the larger arena overhead costs. The advisory boards of WGI have agreed to extend the age eligibility to consider those performers whose age-outs fell between the 2020 and 2021 season. Any performer who will be under the age of 24 before April 1st of 2022 will be able to compete in percussion ensembles across the United States. The same age rule applies for independent A-class color guards and is bumped to age 25 for independent open class guards. It's been really awesome to see WGI continuing to adapt to our return of the activity as we know it. This is truly a very bright beacon for the marching arts moving into 2022. As marching arts educators, we've all had to ask the question, am I a designer or am I an instructor? Am I gonna write the show? Am I gonna buy one? Here with us today, we have an expert on this topic, Ezekiel Lanser, founder of Front2Back. And we kind of wanna dive into some of these issues that ensembles and instructors experience as they try and navigate all of those questions that I mentioned prior. Easy. What are some specific things that you've been able to address or alleviate with your company Front2Back?
Yeah, so I think one thing that we're really trying to do and help people with is get on top of their timeline. When it comes to putting a show out on the floor or the field, timeline is everything. If you can get material in the students' hands sooner, give them more time to dig in on the music and more time for the staff to work with the students, that's huge for the development of the show. The other side of it is the production side and being able to know what you're actually going to be putting on the field and the floor, and that's another benefit of going with a pre-written show or coming onto our website and seeing and hearing everything that you're about to do.
Yeah, I think that's something that's overlooked a lot of the time, as you mentioned, by, time-starved staff members, or, it's one person running the whole program or two people running the whole program. But what I'm hearing is that Front2Back is also providing that in addition to a pre-written show just in terms of music as well.
Right, yeah, and it's a lot. It's a lot for an instructor, a director to put together. Even if they do buy a pre-written show, it's still a lot of things to acquire, and that's why at Front2Back we're now offering flags, prop design, floor design, costume and uniform design, and all of these elements you can see right on our website when you're actually browsing the show. So you get a really good idea of what you're going to be putting out there, and we're really trying to help directors overcome those hurdles early in the season and give them the best chance that they can to be successful.
Yeah.
So every instructor gets to these crossroads. If they want to start designing, and they also want to be teaching, what are some of the key questions they can ask themselves when they're kind of staring at their ensemble and they're about to start the winter season, whether or not they want to start writing the show?
Yeah, they should ask themselves what kind of resources they have. Do they have the time? Mm-hmm. Do they have the staff available that's going to be able to help out while you're worried and focused about the design aspects? And then also they want to ask themselves, like, what are the goals of the season? What are you trying to get out of your students that season? Is it more of a, I really want to focus on the teaching, really want to focus on the education and the training, or are you trying to bring something totally new to the activity, push the envelope, make your debut? Like, what are the goals of your ensemble? And I think just taking a look at those two important things is a really good start.
And hopefully that crossroads, when they're there, they also look at the calendar and say, okay, do I have time to do all these things, or can we just kind of start to delegate things too?
Yeah, if it's November and you're gearing up for indoor and you're like, do I want to write a show? Probably a little late for that. So, yeah.
So when you're constantly writing shows, like day in, day out, almost like clocking in and clocking out, how do you avoid burnout? And also, how do you avoid kind of making the process kind of static through the whole season?
Totally. I think that's one of the huge benefits of having a really solid team together, and the fact that I brought in John Zuniga and Eric Shriver has really allowed us to kind of change up the process from show to show. And not everyone kind of does the same thing on every single show. So that's one thing, and another is we try not to get under the gun so much to where it feels like a crazy burnout. We try to stay on top of things, so we're not working till the early hours of the morning, day in and day out, every single day, and that really helps keep it fresh when you can give yourself a nice pace to the design process rather than trying to force things and falling back on, okay, I've done this before, so let's just do it again because I got to get it out there. Yeah. Staying on top of it helps a lot. For sure. So
no copying and pasting?
I've never copy and pasted a lick before, no.
Good for you. Glad.
Okay, Easy, where can we find out more about your services?
Check out the website, front2backmusic.com. We're on Instagram, Facebook at Front2Back Music.
Today we're going to be talking about a WGI show that was never meant to be seen live. Music City Mystique's Nocturne.
So I picked this show for many reasons. Let me tell you, this first one, the focus of the camera points in this film, or just in episode 1, really led the attention of the viewer. When the snares came up front, it was up close and personal with them. Then we move over to a full battery movement, and it's, again, just wherever my eyes should be, the camera leads me there.
And I love that about the the video process now, because I'm probably the worst WGI show watcher. Like, while there's a big effect moment happening, I'm watching the bottom bass drummer put on his drum, and I miss effects that way.
Yeah.
So this is really cool.
Yeah, for us, we're used to seeing, shows from a bird's eye view or in a, static in the stands. And this brought a whole new element of performance facial expressions and just really getting to see what they're playing. In addition to that, you have the rhythmic lighting. This is something super new that, maybe not allowed in WGI or DCI as heavily as we saw in these episodes for Mystique, but it was almost like they were a section in itself. Every time the battery hit a hard movement or the pit was doing a run of some sort, it was echoed in the lighting. And man, I want to know who the lighting guy is, because I got to give you some mad props, my friend.
Yeah, and that's something that we've always, as designers, whenever we bring up lights in a show, it's always just like, oh, you're not going to be able to see it as well as like we want it to. So this was a really cool thing that they were able to like shut all the lights off. Right. And then bring all of that to life even more prominent than ever before.
Oh yeah, and then just to bring it home with the lighting and the camera focal points, you end with this giant pit feature. And the Music City Mystique front ensemble is no joke. We all know that. And they were able to replicate what you feel watching them live through those two things, the camera angles and especially that rhythmic lighting. So Mystique, I am a fan, well worthy of a breakdown.
Absolutely. They didn't let any quality suffer. You can see the kids jamming all the way through the show, so I had a great time watching it too.
You guys should go check it out on the Music City Mystique website. You can stream episode 1 and episode 2, and for a small donation, you can check out episode 3.
And that's our show for today. If you guys like what you see and want to stay up to date on martial arts news, make sure you guys hit subscribe below. Links are down there. Easy, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for being here. Stay safe. See you guys next time.